What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the College of Tuber Studies. I'm trying out a mustache for today as I cut down my beard. Does it make me look more professorial? We're talking about titles because someone asked. Titles on YouTube videos, and I'm trying something new with this lecture. I don't have a rigid outline, so we'll see if this crashes and burns. Here's the hard truth. Your title matters a lot. Your title and thumbnail together matter almost as much as having a good video. Like if you have a mediocre video but a really good thumbnail and title, you're golden. If you have excellent content and kind of a crappy title and thumbnail, it's like a crapshoot. You might do okay, because I do think that good videos, like really good videos, rise to the top somehow. But the thing is, most of us are not making really good videos all the time. We're not making the cream of the crop every video. And especially if you're just starting out, it's hard to get the exposure. Even if you have 0 subscribers and you put out literally the best video ever, it's possible no one will ever see it, just because that's how YouTube works. Like, it's a search engine, and if you give it a bad title, if you make the best video ever and give it a bad title, no one's ever gonna see it. You know, as you grow, as you get a bigger audience, you can kind of skirt some of that stuff. Or if you get lucky and someone happens to find your video and then share it, and then it goes somewhere like Reddit or Facebook and then it blows up, then the title is irrelevant. But these are all like edge cases. Like, we're talking about you are grinding it out on YouTube, trying to make a name for yourself. You're putting out videos regularly, and especially if you're like in a niche and you're not just making funny cat videos or, you know, like really high-end documentary series or whatever, the title matters. The title draws people in. And some people get frustrated by that. I think a lot of us go onto YouTube, onto YouTube, thinking that we are going to express ourselves, you know. And I can remember having these grandiose visions of being artistic and stuff and having all these crazy titles, man. And the thing is, I realized very quickly that doesn't work. Like, occasionally I can put in a kind of creative title and feel like I'm expressing myself. But you learn very quickly that YouTube is about catching attention, and you can't catch attention by being obscure or artistic, usually. I think we also sometimes get this wrong impression of, I make the videos I want and then I have to like trick people into watching them with the title and thumbnail. I keep saying title and thumbnail. They're sort of inseparable, but I'm gonna focus mostly on title now, because I've talked about thumbnails before. I might do more in-depth stuff, like with in-depth with Johnny Depp stuff when it comes to thumbnails, but they're sort of inseparable. But when it comes to those titles, it's not about tricking people. It's really about, what do I want to make, plus what do I know people want to see? Now let me plan those videos, and then the title should kind of naturally come out of it in a way that will catch people's attention. And you have to still pay attention to it and be like, I've got to think about keywords, search terms, all that. That's the first big thing to think about. Is YouTube is a search engine first and foremost. So if you have searchable terms or a title that is searchable, that's gonna help you out. If you're making a video about how to brew the perfect cup of coffee, I've got some coffee right here, it's not gonna be good to name it like Uncle John's coffee recipe or whatever, like no one cares. But if you title it, the best coffee recipe ever, the best way to brew coffee ever, that's getting you closer. People will go to YouTube and search those exact words. So what you do is you look at videos that are doing the same thing you're doing generally, see what titles they use. Sometimes you might even just steal their title. It's not really stealing. I mean, it's a search term ultimately. Just take their title word for word. But one other thing you can do is realize when you're doing your research, you look at the titles and you're like, okay, I see 3 videos here that have gotten hundreds of thousands of views that use this title, or like a very similar play on the same title. How can I get in that same range of words that they're in, like the same basic structure, but add something else to make me stand out? For instance, you see, like, if a video is titled "The Best Way to Brew Coffee Ever," maybe you change it around a little bit to, I don't know that these would work, but these are just like some thoughts. Is this the best way to brew coffee? The best way in the world to brew coffee? The secret way. The ultimate way. Like, you just think of different ways. And you can use keyword search things as well. If you go to Google Trends, trends.google.com, I believe, you can type in search terms and compare the search volume on YouTube and on Google. That might not always be the best thing because, you know, the numbers don't lie when they're huge. You know, when you're talking about the difference between like 100 on the scale to 20 on the scale. But if they're like very close, it's not that big of a deal on the trends. The other side of it is maybe you're not making a video that's so straightforward. Maybe you're making a video that's a bit more nuanced. And this is where it becomes frustrating as a YouTuber because you're like, I want to make complex videos. I need to express like complicated ideas, and how do I boil that down into a stupid title that's gonna get the dummies out there to click on it? And this is something every YouTuber struggles with, and every YouTuber gets mad over it because it's like, it becomes difficult at sometimes to be like, I don't even know how to encapsulate this video into like 5 words, which is what you sort of have to do. And part of the thing that can help is to go into a video when you're planning the video out, thinking about what is the title going to be. You don't have to have that going into it, but it can really help to know, oh man, I'm going to do this video and title it this, but I can make all these other things that go off of this title. Like, it's almost like you plan the video around the title rather than trying to go the opposite direction of boiling it down. You know what I mean? If you watch a lot of YouTube, pay attention to the titles and you will see a lot of them only really reflect one part of the video and not the video as a whole, because it's almost impossible to address the whole video. Now, is this clickbait? Not necessarily. I can think of one video in particular that has a lot of views I saw from one creator, and it was called "Why Am I Single?" and the thumbnail was her looking sad. Why am I single? And the video was just a Q&A. Like, it was not like a serious video at all. And one of the questions was, you know, are you single? Why? And she just answered it. And it was like a very small portion of the video, but it got people to click, you know, because it presented something that seemed dramatic. Like, the title should not just say what's in the video, but should also create a question or create some mystery or tension. So saying "why I'm single," it's like, oh crap, there's a mystery to be solved here. She's gonna reveal the answer. It's the same thing with the coffee example from earlier, the best coffee recipe. Even though it's a very bland title, but it still is giving you some mystery. Like, the people are like, ooh, what is in it? You could even add more to it to try to juice it up. You do this for the best, you know, you'll see a lot of titles, YouTube titles that have a question. He said, what? Or the other thing is, the reason I mentioned thumbnails earlier is because the thumbnail is sort of an extension of the title, because you should usually, I would say 3 out of 4 times, be putting words in your thumbnail. So sometimes the words in the thumbnail are just what's in the title. Sometimes it's like a little additional thing. You know, like, for example, this isn't what happened with the "why I'm single" thumbnail. I think it just said why am I still single in the thumbnail, just repeated the title. But you could have done something else like, "It's a long story," or my heart was broken. You know, something where it's like just juicing up that promise in the title. And it's not like, that's the other side of that is don't give away what's gonna happen in the title. So if you're making that coffee video, don't say the secret to the best cup of coffee, brew it for 3 minutes in a French press or whatever. That's probably not the right way to make a French press, I don't know. But, you know, if you gave it away in the title, they have no reason to watch. But if it was like, secret to the best coffee, add vinegar? I'm just literally coming up with the most random crap. But if you get what I'm saying, it's like something analogous to that, where you're giving the answer away, but it's like so crazy, people have to watch to have it explained. Why I'm single? I pooped my pants once? This is just getting really juvenile now. For me, the title that I've done that I'm most proud of on my main channel is the video called I Lost Her Forever. And the thumbnail is just me sitting in a chair like... And I knew when I did that title that I was doing it right. And I rarely feel that way on YouTube, but that time I knew this is a YouTube title that is meant to make people go, ooh, and click on it. That's what you're trying to find, titles that make you go, ooh, and click. And it's hard because you know what's in the video, but they don't. So you've got to put yourself into the mindset of a dummy on YouTube who's seeing this, doesn't know anything, and the title is presenting them with a shiny bauble for them to click on. And my video called I Lost Her Forever, what does that invoke feelings of or thoughts of when you see that out of context? You're like, dude, he must have broke up with his girlfriend, or he must be going through a divorce, or or people could be like, oh, maybe his dog ran away or something. But it seems like such a dramatic thing. People click because they want to know the story. Like I've promised a story there. So it's like asking a question and there's a mystery, or like starting the story and people want to hear how it ends. That's all it is. It's like, it's all storytelling, and storytelling really is answering a question. The question is the conflict, how does it resolve? It's a big game of doing that in the title. And of course that video I made was just about meeting some girl at the airport for 5 minutes and then regretting that I didn't get her number. Like, I could have titled that in many ways that would have not gotten clicks. I could have titled it Airport Girl. I could have titled it I Didn't Get Her Number. I could have titled it, I don't know, if I wanted to go the obscure route, Minneapolis Airport, August. I don't even know, man. But there are so many bad ways I could have titled that video. Would have been the same exact video, same exact thumbnail, but people wouldn't have clicked because the words were different in the title. That's the beauty of YouTube, and the frustrating thing that'll make you want to quit is because you're like, I put so much work into this. I have a great video, people aren't clicking. And once you start doing YouTube enough, you start to realize that some of your worst videos get more views just because you lucked into a title that had the right search terms in it. So you've got to learn to play the game. You've got to feel comfortable with clickbaiting people a little bit. Don't click, like, what is clickbait? To me, clickbait is when you promise something that's like not in the video at all. Like there's almost no way you can justify it, which doesn't happen as much on YouTube anymore, but you've got to clickbait a little bit where you seem to promise one huge dramatic thing, but you don't quite follow through on it. But the thing is, everyone knows this is the game being played. Everyone knows you're not going to necessarily follow through on this huge promise, but you got to give them something good. You can't promise something good and then give them garbage, right? I mean, and if you're good at what you're doing, if you're good at talking to the camera, if you're compelling, it doesn't matter. This is like another thing that's going to be hard to hear, but it's like your talent matters also. If you can get them to click, and you've sort of clickbaited them by promising something that's in the video, but not maybe exactly what they expected, and you can just make them forgive you immediately because you're good at doing the video that you're doing, it doesn't matter. But if you are like struggling to deliver any kind of value, the people clicking are gonna be mad. And this is one of the things about YouTube, is that you don't want to clickbait people too much to the degree that they watch your video for 10 seconds and leave, because YouTube sees that and they're like, oh, this video isn't following through on what it promised, so we're not going to recommend it to people anymore. But if you still kind of clickbait people a little bit and they click and they don't get exactly what they wanted, but they keep watching because it's just good YouTube, YouTube will reward you. You see? And like a good person to look at for this is Casey Neistat. You go back to his daily vlogs from 2015, 2016, and he was just filming himself all day and had to like come up with these storylines, and a lot of them were kind of thin. Like a lot of times there wasn't that much going on, but it was his pure character, his pure charisma and personality that made you want to keep watching. But he still, even though he's one of the best YouTubers out there and was at his prime when he was doing these videos, he had to clickbait people. And so go back and watch his daily vlogs from a few years ago. And he probably still does this now, but he will take a shot. A lot of times he doesn't do this, but I feel like most of the time he just takes one thing that happened for like 5 seconds in the video and titles it that. Like the one that's coming to mind, I forget what it was called, but something like, the video is titled, This woman was naked and trying to fight my wife. It was better than that, but it was basically promising, and the shot was of Candace, his wife, in the foreground, and you could see in the background some lady on the street. But the title basically promised that there was a naked lady who was trying to fight his wife. And you watch the video and like that doesn't happen until like the last 20 seconds of the video, and it has nothing to do with anything else, but he got you to click because it's compelling. And in some ways you have to think of the title, when you're doing that kind of video, you have to think of the title and thumbnail as being almost like a separate story unto itself and like not really representative of the whole video. You have to like accept that. And everyone's doing something different. Like if I'm making this video now, I can't title it like grow a mustache. Like that would be stupid. People aren't gonna click on that. I'm gonna have to title it something like all about titles. But depending on what you're doing, I'm just giving you examples to show you how other YouTubers trick the system. Not trick the system, but they're playing the game. It's a game we all have to play. There's nothing wrong with it. PewDiePie does it too, and this is the thing you have to realize, is that when you get more popular, you can rest a little bit. You don't have to play the game as aggressively, but even the big YouTubers still have to play it. Like they can't just title things whatever they want. They can't just title it video, you know, 253 of this year or whatever. They have to make you want to click, and it's all about them thinking, what do I want to do that they want to see, and then how can I package it in a way that they'll click. That's all it is. But don't look at the big YouTubers too closely, because you can't do what they do. They, like I said, they can rest on the fact that they have a dedicated fan base of millions of people. You don't have that. I don't have that. Even with me, 200, almost 50,000 viewers on my main channel, I have to play the game constantly. I can't just make whatever I want. So that's one of the humbling things about YouTube, and titles go right into it. And I've seen some other big YouTubers who just stop making videos because, or their channel just like goes to poop because they don't want to play the game anymore, and they would rather just make what they want to make, and their viewership drops off precipitously because of that. It's a two-way street, or that's not really the right saying to use right here, but you've always got to think of the audience. It's a performer-audience relationship that makes a YouTube channel work. It's not just the performer, you know. And don't overestimate your talents and ability to just pull people in with your magnetism, and that they'll click no matter what. You'll get some people who click no matter what. And you probably have your YouTubers that you watch who are like that also. I have them. They've built up enough goodwill with you that you don't care what the title and thumbnail is. But Even if you get to be big, even if you get 1 million subscribers, you can't rely on that. You have to keep playing the game. So, do you still want to be a YouTuber? Did I even really tell you how to make good titles? I mean, sort of. But the most actionable advice is to do your research. See what other videos are doing well that are similar to what you want to make, and copy the titles. Do searches, search the trends. Get something, you know, it might be worth getting a plugin like TubeBuddy or vidIQ. They have keyword searches. There are many other keyword search plugins and websites out there that can help you figure out what on YouTube is working, and go there. But like I said, like I pointed out with my one video about I lost her forever, that no one's searching that. That doesn't have keywords in it. That was just about storytelling. And if I had 200 subscribers when I released that video, I wouldn't have gotten the views it got. So you got to keep that in mind also. When you're starting, everyone's got to play the keyword game, but when you're starting, that's the only game you can really play, I think, unless you're lucky. And you don't want to count on the luck. I feel like I got pretty animated during that one. I've been going for 20 minutes. I don't know, how much am I gonna edit this down? I don't know. I didn't come in, like I said, I didn't come into this with an outline. I wanted to try to be a little bit more off the cuff. But usually when I do that and I go back to edit it, I'm like, this ain't no good. But maybe I'll stick with it this time. And let me know, do you prefer this long, like me just sitting down? I mean, this is what professors do in college, right? How many professors did you have that didn't come in with an outline, but you were still drawn in? Frank, that's presumptuous. I wasn't drawn in at all. Yeah. Do you like the longer ones, or do you want it to be more like bam, bam, bam? Here's some points to consider and chew on. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, if you want to. If you don't want to, then get out of here. Speaking of which, I'm gonna get out of here. So you take care. I'll see you next time at the College of Tuber Studies. Here's how to make the best cup of coffee. First, you